Today was a pretty long day filled with a lot of unexpected errands that I had to run to take care of some things that needed to be done around the house. And my original plans got a bit derailed. And this has been happening more often than not. But what I'm learning is to not let it get to me as much. I kind of slip into it a little bit, but then I have to remind myself, hey, this is one of the reasons why I'm just kind of taking a break from the normal. This is why I'm taking a break from work and, not trying to put too much pressure on myself to get things done, as quickly as possible. It just, it pops into my mind because I did a video not too long ago about why I keep recording late. And at the time it was because I was kind of just waiting to let my day kind of go by to see what I ended up doing and just basically giving like recaps of the day. But I want to move away from that, even though I find that I'm still kind of doing that a little bit. And that's pretty much, um, you know, what I do when I end up with, recording a later video. But I had been doing pretty good these last few days. I've been doing my videos and getting them out before before 7 p.m., which is always my goal. My goal is to always record the video and get it out before 7 p.m. But my ultimate goal is to be able to actually record my videos before 2 p.m. Each day Eastern time. And I haven't been able to work up to 2 p.m. I think the earliest I've done is maybe like around 5-ish. I'm not 100% sure, but to me that's progress. Even those, 2 hour plus, makes a big difference. But today was just kind of one of those days where it was a lot of unexpected errands and stuff that popped up. And also on top of that, just kind of trying to think of what to talk about because I was like, well, what can I talk about? Because I was I'm trying to move away from the recapping of my day. And and I was just like, well, what can I talk about? But what I really wanted to talk about was like I'm like tired, right? And because I've been running around pretty much all day and I'm really, ready to rest, but it just reminded me like because I'm building this habit, building this discipline, this muscle of, recording every day, being, committing to being a daily, YouTuber. Um, it just reminds me of how in the beginning, like one of the earlier videos that I did, how I mentioned how I was really hesitant to commit to posting daily on YouTube because I know that life be lifing. And I was just like, I know something's going to come up at some point, that's going to prevent me from, being able to record, something on a day. And I was trying to use that as an excuse not to really commit to doing it. But ultimately, I had to just let that go and be like, okay, well, we'll just cross that bridge, when we get to it. It's other things that I could, do. If I miss a day, I miss a day. But we'll just cross that bridge when we get to it. Because, sometimes things happen, that you can't really control. But I don't want to dwell on that too much because, my goal is to be able to post outside of some extenuating circumstance. That's just, I'm, my plan is to continue to post. And then, so I was thinking about that and it's like today is one of those days where I'm just like tired and I'm just like, I don't really have anything that I particularly want to talk about and still working on my cozy creator space. I actually made a little bit of progress towards the space today. I was able to clear out some larger items to free up some space in the room, which is great. If you know anything, if you've seen any of my other videos, you know that I enjoy having as much space, open space as possible. And even though right now I'm, working with a smaller space that I'm usually, that I'm used to, moving back home, moving from a 1 bedroom apartment with plenty of space for me as a single, individual, but to a fully furnished home and, back to my old room. So, just dealing with that. But that to me today, that was a small win. And and I was just, outside of reflecting on the challenges of posting each day, and then just kind of reminding myself like why it's so important to continue to show up. um Continue to show up for yourself, each day. I'm literally just documenting my journey on my reset. You know what I mean? And every day, it is for each day, whether I have something, that I want to talk about specifically or not. And I'm just more so just, and I think this is a bit of the perfectionism coming out, just making sure that my creative space is good. You know what I mean? Where when I get the impulse to record something, regardless of what time of day it is, that I can just hop on and do it. And a lot of the times I don't really feel like I'm in the right space to do a lot of that type of impromptu, or not necessarily impromptu, but yeah, I guess impromptu, or just um I don't want to say random, but just being able to hop on real quick and say something. So I guess impromptu would be the best word. Recording and stuff. So, and again, recovering perfectionist, I'm aware, when those ideals and things pop up. So I continue to work through it, and try to, talk myself out of, those beliefs, and not allow it to, keep me from, posting. It may hinder me for a little bit, but ultimately, I chose to do, daily YouTube, and that's what I'm going to do. And it's just like super important just to keep showing up for myself, because not only, is it just building the discipline, but I just don't want it to turn into something that ends up becoming something like a forgotten dream, you know? Um, and I just know that it's super important to not just go off of being motivated, being motivated to make a video. Because if one thing I've learned, in this lifetime, is you can't always just wait to be motivated. It's great to be motivated, you know what I mean? It's great to have motivation to do things. It gives you a bit more pep in your step, gives you a bit more enthusiasm about whatever it is, but ultimately you can't always just rely on that. I think, I think a lot of times it's times when like you have to get that thing done whether you're motivated to do it or not, right? So I think these things are really important. It helps build character, things like that. Um, but yeah, I'm just rambling on, and I'm not gonna hold you guys. I just wanted to hop on here and just listen, just say like continue. I'm showing up for myself. Want to encourage you all to continue to show up for yourself, regardless of the circumstances, regardless of whatever excuses or reasons, we'll say reasons that you may have, not to continue pursuing, your dreams, whether it's starting a YouTube channel, or starting a project, a new hobby, your new hobby, whatever, anything that will require you to, prove to yourself that you are capable, to continue to show up for yourself. And I'll leave you with that. Thank you so much for watching my video, and I will see you in the next one. Take care.